I'll start recording. Okay.
Not a problem. Not a
Okay.
problem.
So,
How is that?
how is everything there, like generally?
Well, yeah, I'm right now I'm in the UK, in Wales. So it's okay. Everything's good. I can't complain. Lots of rules around, especially at this time, but otherwise doing excellent and no complaints. We're just working around things and adjusting, and everything's okay. So I can't complain.
So okay, so let me begin. So that I just wanted to get that out. So hello, a very warm welcome to the VR show, the show which talks about all the ways major football leagues in detail. Today we are going to continue the theme of interviews, and we have a very special guest from all the way from Wales, and we have Mr. Robert Earnshaw with us, who, like everyone knows, is a very like renowned name of football, especially in UK, and the amount of times he has played for his nation. That's a dream for anyone growing up. That's like maybe a child's dream. Do you get asked a lot about that? But I'll get into that later. And I would like to begin by asking you, like, how are you, and like what have you been doing, like in this pandemic time. It's been, although you can say it's opening up, but it's still difficult to say about anything.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me because it's always a pleasure, especially for me because I was born in Africa and I grew up in the United Kingdom. And for me, chasing the dreams, I wanted to be a footballer. So it's a pleasure to be on here with you and also speak to people in different countries because I'm a well-traveled. I've lived in lots of different countries. So it's always enjoyable when I speak to different people. And listen, for me, in this, the last, I guess, 2 years, it's been an adjustment because the COVID situation, the pandemic worldwide, and it's everywhere. And it's been something that in my personal day-to-day, it has helped me quite a bit. I'll tell you why. Because I think in anything in life, you can look at it as it's an emergency, it's the end and everything, or you can look at it as, okay, how do I adjust? How do I move still forward? And what can I do maybe slightly different? Maybe it gives me other things. What's there that I haven't quite seen yet? So for me, I found that it gave me a lot of time. And with anything, I always say in life, health and time, the two biggest things. So this time it gave me an opportunity for day to day, I work on my health. Like for instance, I get up early in the morning and I work on my health because if I'm healthy, everything's good. If I don't have my health, it's the end. So I work on my health every day. I exercise, I walk, I jog, I run. So I exercise. I make sure I do that specifically for my body, for me. And then I start to get to work with that, with different things. And that's what I've been doing during this period of time. So I exercise most days, probably 6 times a week. I do at least an hour and a half or a couple of hours or whatever I have. Anything as long as it's exercise, I take care of that. And then I then use my time. So my time is then based on whether I'm working, for example, this period of time, I've been working a lot in doing media in the UK, whether it's TV, radio, games, and working on my coaching licenses with the Wales Football Association here. So I then specifically work on my time. Okay, what am I doing on that day? What's my schedule? And then what do I need to plan? And sometimes I need to put some time aside to prepare for what I'm going to be doing. So I take a lot of time on that. And also the other thing is making sure that, relationships, family, people, friends, I also try and connect as much as possible. So for me, I can't complain because I looked at it that way and I thought, okay, there's not many times ever that you're able to pause and the whole world is paused. And then what can you do with that time? That's how I looked at it. I thought, okay, what can I do with this time? Okay, let me get to work, whether it's working as in whether it's media, radio, coaching, those things, or working on myself. So I got to work, and every day I try and fill my time with goals that I want to achieve, whether it's specific for me, whether it's specific in career, professionalism. That's what I've been doing a lot. So a lot of thinking, a lot of time, but using the time and making sure that you have to adjust. I understand, and everybody's in the same. You have to adjust and work with what you have.
Definitely. And like, in spite of having such a busy schedule, you did take out time for us. Thank you so much for that. Like, one thing that struck out, like, I don't know, I did forget maybe. And when you mentioned like you were born in Africa, I went to your Wikipedia because that's the most reliable source, and I did see you're born in Zambia. It's quite easy to like mistake that you were born and brought up in UK, because you went on to play close to 60 games for Wales. It must have been very difficult, like like coming as an outsider. Like, even to this day you see like English footballers born and brought up, they're going and maybe changing the nationality to play for an African country where probably they are allowed, but you kind of did the other way around. And it is like, how did you do it? Because it's not possible, it's not impossible, but it's very difficult.
Yeah, it is difficult, but I was born in Zambia, in Africa. My mum Zambian as well. My dad was English. So we then moved to the UK when I was 9, and I grew up in Wales, in the UK. And for me, it was very difficult, because I've always classed myself, I was born in Zambia, that's where I'm from, and that's where I was born. That it doesn't change. I grew up in the UK and spend a lot of my life in the UK because that's where I grew up. So I was torn in both. I was part of both. And I think at first I actually I decided not to play for Wales and not to play for Zambia, because I wanted to take time to decide, and that's what I did. So I think I was about 16 at that time, and started playing for Cardiff City. And I was torn between the both. So it was difficult, but I took time and I thought, what's the best thing for my career? Where do I see myself playing football? And listen, I could have easily played for Zambia. I could have easily played for Wales. I could have played actually for all the home nations in the United Kingdom, England, and everywhere, because my eligibility. So it was a difficult decision, but I just felt it was the best thing for football. And also it just felt right, because at the time I go back to when I'm 16, 17 and 18, and that's where home was. And that's where I felt that was the right thing and the right place to play.
Definitely. And like, as challenging as it would have been, like, to make the decision, even like the practical aspect, like going there, like, because they know you have come from Zambia, like, like, and how difficult was that? Because like, when even I am from Nepal and I had gone to Barcelona, I stayed there for quite a while. It's not easy when you stand out, like, compared to others. How difficult? How was it for you? Like, making it all the way to the top.
Yeah, I always say that it's always difficult, but it's always how you see it. And sometimes you've got to take a step back and think, hold on, it's okay. If I'm a little bit different, great. And I would say, great, because you're a little bit different. Wonderful. That's a good thing. It's never a bad thing. So, when I grow up in the UK and I'm in Wales, and I am a little bit different, and it is difficult. And, when you grow up and you're trying to make a career, you're trying to do something. I'm trying to become a footballer because I saw it on TV and I thought, oh, that's what I want to be. That's where I want. Those guys, that's who I want to be. So to do that was difficult, because you spend a lot of time, you difficulties, challenges, you're trying to play, be the best that you can. And all you can do is how your intentions are correct. You have good morals. You have a good way of living. You're a good person. You don't move side to side from that, because that's always a great way. And for me, as I grow up, I wanted to, the goal was to be on TV and play in the Premier League and play international football and go. That was my dream. So it was always, that's the goal. I'm going to face challenges. I'm going to face lots of difficult things, but I'm going to have to, sometimes you have to win people over. Sometimes you have to show who you are. And people say, I didn't know he was such a good guy. Or I didn't know he's, I enjoy his company. And it always comes back to you being a human being. And that's where I think it starts and ends, whatever you do. So I think that's always the difficulty. And I face loads and loads. To go to the top, you face a lot of challenges, a lot of difficulties, and even moments where you think, whoa, this is hard, but still got to do it. And that's what I always stay true to. What did I want to achieve in life? Where did I want to go? And I still try to stay with that in my mind and keep going.
Definitely. And you're like, that's like what mentality I think anyone looking for inspiration should have, like that mentality.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you, like, you said you were eligible for all the home countries, like in the UK. And why did you choose Wales? Was it more emotional, or was it a footballing reason?
It was a bit of everything. It was Wales because I think number one was, where did I feel was home? And I was living by that time from 9 until really I was like 23, I believe, 24. It was my home. And that's where I felt that I grew up, and my friends, my family was here, or part of my family. A lot of my family is still in Zambia, but I just felt it was the right decision based on where I felt was home. But also football at that time, I was playing football for Cardiff City. I was starting to make a name for myself through the youth team, now going into the first team and starting to play games. People were seeing my talent, but also understanding that I was a little bit different in how I approached things. I came to enjoy myself, exactly like all the fans. I came into the first team with enjoyment and trying to create a goal and trying to score goals. And that was really, I felt like that for footballing reasons also was right as well.
We have spoken a lot about football, and like how it was, I think it's everybody's dream who follows football to be on, probably, I wouldn't say, this might be controversial, I wouldn't even say World Cup, but to be in the Premier League, like TV, like to be part of the Premier League. And
Yeah.
that being that, other than that, was there any reason as to why football?
Well, I think now I can connect it back. It's very, at the time when you're going as a young kid and you're 15, 16, 20, maybe not thinking so much about it, but I go back then and I think, maybe there was an influence. So in my family, there was a football influence. Within the family, there was Kalusha Bwalia, who was played for Zambia, but he was close to the family. He's one of my second cousins. So he was playing for Club Bruges, PSV Eindhoven, Club America in Mexico. And he was the African Footballer of the Year. So big star. And I grew up when I was in Zambia with him around. And my mom also played football.
Okay.
So back in Zambia, my mom also used to play football, and she was excellent. And so I think when I'm growing up as a young little child, and I probably 5, 6 at the time, maybe there was the smell, it was the feeling of football was already there, but I actually didn't really. It triggered when I got to the UK. And when I got to the UK and I watched the Premier League, and I watch international football. And I grew up on, all the European football, La Liga, Italian football, Premier League, Bundesliga, and the Dutch football. So I used to watch it on TV. And as soon as I started to watch, I was, okay, that is what I want to do. Because everybody always thinks, oh, I don't know what I do. I like this. I'm interested in this. But for me, it was, that's what I want to do. So after years and years, as soon as I saw it on TV, I thought, that's what I want to be. And that's what I want to do in life. And that's why I chose football, because it just hit me. Everything just clicked. It was inside, it caught my soul.
Okay, and like you said, like how you always knew that, okay, I wanted to be a footballer, like maybe because of your attachments back home, like you had a superstar near you, and also coming to UK, and seeing everything. Like, was there any one particular moment where you realized, okay, now I know I can pursue this full time as a footballer? Was there any one particular moment when that clicked for you?
I think really it was, I found it difficult, because it's not like maybe a lot of other players where they go through the youth system and they get scouted when they're 12 to 15, and then they're already training with teams. I didn't have that. I just played local football with my friends and the team that I chose to play for, and I played in school sometimes. And that's where my footballing background began. And really, when I went to a couple of trials, didn't get in. When I was about 15, didn't get in, and I never stopped believing. So really, when I was playing for a local team, and we had Cardiff City playing on the next field, and we were playing, and I scored a hat-trick, and the Cardiff City youth team coach says, oh, we'd like to have that kid, myself, come and train with us. And he asked my coach, and that was the moment where I was like, okay, that's the moment that maybe things change. I didn't know whether at the time, I didn't know whether it would, but that was maybe the moment where maybe luck, maybe opportunity, but I was always scoring goals locally. So quite a few teams started to know, but I also broke my leg as well before, so I missed some time. But when I was 16, Cardiff City, the story I was talking about, the Cardiff City were on the next pitch. And then that was the moment where I felt, there's an opportunity. And then I went training, and then they signed me, and then I become a footballer, and I start playing for a professional team. So I really, really late for a young kid.
And that's quite amazing to you. And like how you mentioned, like how you were rejected from trials, and I think that's a very common sight, like for the young guys to come over. Probably these days, we only see the glamour, of the Premier League, and you don't know how much hard work and probably rejections. Like if you can pick up any Premier League players book, and you will see I was rejected by so and so team and so club this many times in my trials. But at that particular moment, when you said you're 15, it's not easy to take that in. How do you continue? Is it more of your family support that is very vital, or you need to be mentally strong too?
I think number one is you yourself have to be mentally strong, because nobody else really can take the pressure, understand it, and still go. So you, number one, have to be. How do you do that? I think for me, it was every day I played football. Most days I played football, but I played football to work on my craft. So for example, I'm a forward, a striker. Every day I'm working to become better and better and better. So when I get the rejections, it was not because, in my mind, it was not because I wasn't maybe good enough, and maybe they thought I wasn't good enough. Okay, but the faith in myself to be mentally strong, because I work on my game every day, I knew I could score lots of goals at levels. So I always knew that. So whether somebody says, oh, but we're not going to pick you here, then it's okay. One person says that, but my game, I still work on. I still understand that I can score goals. I can do well. Maybe it's a different team that picks me up. So there's always that understanding that I think your confidence in your game gives you a strong belief. And that's what I always worked on. Is I always paid attention to my craft, my game, the position I was playing, what I do inside the game, how I can be the best, you know. And confidence comes from there. But also you need people around you, support, family, friends, people to still support you. You need some of that too. That's important. And I got lots and lots of those. But I think with myself, I was always driven. So I told the story about how I saw it on TV. So when I saw it on TV, it was in my mentality is once I want to do something, I'm all in, full. So when I saw that on TV, I was like, that's what I want to do. So when I get any rejections, it's not the end. It's I still want to do that. I'm going to find a way. And you just have to take moments to think maybe different ways or do better, become better, work more on your game, and it will come. The results will come if you keep working.
Definitely. So, like I'll touch on your footballing career. I'll not get much into it because it's very well documented, and probably I'll leave the stories for your punditry work where you can say about your stories. So, like one phase where we speak about your mental strength was when you were rejected in maybe when you were 15, like you had to instantly get back up and go fighting again. Other
Yeah.
phase was when, like at one point when you're playing the Premier League, then you were relegated to Championship. And again, you did come back up with what you did play with other team. When you were relegated, did you think, okay, no, I have to play in the Premier League, or did you have enough belief that you would come back up, like as a player, may not be with the same team?
Yeah. So the interesting, I never actually got relegated from the Premier League as a team. I got sold play from a Premier League team to a Championship, which is the one league below, and that happened. So for me, for example, when I was playing at West Brom, and I got sold to Norwich City, and Norwich City were in the league below, which is the Championship, and West Brom were in the Premier League, and I went because I wanted to go do well at Norwich, so I can go back to the Premier League. And that was my goal. And that's always difficult because you have to go somewhere else, do well, and hopefully then because you do well, you get back to where the league that you want to play in. Listen, the Premier League is unbelievable. It's the best to play in. It's amazing. So I of course I still want that, and I still wanted to be playing there. Now, if I could get back up with Norwich, even better. It didn't happen. I got sold to somebody else. I got sold to Derby County at the time, and of course you go back to the Premier League. So it's always the goal is to get back to the Premier League, and that's where you want to be. Because listen, when you have the dream to play in the Premier League and you want to play against the very best players, I was lucky to play that. So I got the taste of that. You don't want to let go. So you want to get back and playing against the very best.
Definitely. And I think that was a very brave move, like where you actually agreed to go probably one step back to probably take two steps forward, in terms of your career. Like it's always a risk, like many players, once you go down, probably they never come back up. You can easily get lost, but you did come back, and that was quite bold. And I felt that was like, you require a lot of mental strength, to take that decision, probably more than when you were 15 and you rejected, because then you had not made a name for yourself. But now you you already had made a name for yourself, and to probably go a step lower would require more metal than anything else.
Yeah, and it's difficult, and it's always specific to you yourself at that time. Yeah. Now, at that moment, I felt that it was the right decision. I could have stayed. I still had a year and a half, I think, Yeah, a year and a half left on the contract. So I could have stayed, yes, but I felt, okay, what's the best thing for my career? And every football player, you want to play. And sometimes I was playing, sometimes not playing. So that was difficult. But I just felt, do I see myself going to Norwich City, doing well, and hopefully then get back to the Premier League? I had to believe in that direction, and I did. And I wanted to play football. I wanted to do well, and I just felt Norwich City was a good team for me to go to at that time. So it's always specific to you yourself at that time when you're making these decisions. And sometimes it's difficult, and sometimes you can stay. So it's a fine balance.
Definitely. And like you said, like how playing in the Premier League is probably every player's goal and like dream and but you happen to play for quite a lot of leagues, like across the world, I would say. MLS, you went to Israel to play. How different are the footballing cultures?
Very, very different. And those are the things that I wanted to learn. I wanted to go and experience, but very different because, for example, I played in Israel. Now the football was very different mentality, different culture, different even, the fans, they turn up, 1.5 hours before kickoff and they're shouting. And I love that, and it's great. So different cultures and, little ways that they do things day to day. So it's just interesting, very fanatical. I moved to MLS, very different culture. Sometimes it's, there's a lot of fans there too, and more and more popular all the time, and lots of crowds, big crowds, and very different in how they see football. So you just have to adjust, and you go to a different culture, you adjust, you connect, you understand. But the one thing is the game is always the same. There's still two goals, you score, you defend, the grass is always green, and there's similar dimensions, and the game is still the same, and everybody enjoys the game exactly the same. And I think that's the beauty. And I've been lucky to travel different countries and play in different leagues. But the enjoyment of the game is the same. People love it. People enjoy it as well. Myself on the pitch, it's enjoyable to look up and to see the fans, and you're connected. You enjoy that together. But it is very, very different. I learned a lot. I learned a lot from moving different leagues and different cultures, and that's what I really liked as well.
Definitely. And like that's amazing to see. Like I mean, you would also want to you would also experience the lifestyle of the different places, which is also, I think it's amazing. So continuing with that, like how you said you have been busy with punditry, and we get to see you a lot these days. Like I think even the Euros, you're quite busy with everything. And is it something that you want to continue, or is it only because right now you have not completed or I mean, you're not into coaching as a full time?
It's a little bit of both. Sometimes when you are doing something else comes along and you think, okay, actually I quite enjoy this. And that's been the case for me. I retired in 20. So I was in Vancouver in Canada, playing in MLS. I went into coaching. I started coaching. I coached for a few years, and then I came to do my coaching license here. And then at the same time, I started to do some media work and covering games, radio, different things, and TV. And I started to do that, and I found out that actually I really, really enjoy it. And it's fun. It's talking about the game I love. It's giving your perspective and understanding of the game. And it's really fun. It's really, really fun. And it's great. You meet some great people. They treat you great. And I've really, really enjoyed it. It is something I do want to continue. I like it. I enjoy it. And it's fun. And I'll hopefully do more and more and more. I'm getting asked more and more from different things in different places around the world also, so which is nice. But I've been doing a lot with the media in the UK here, so it's nice, it's enjoyable. But we'll see where it goes. I'm studying with my coaching badges, which I've actually just pretty much finished recently in the last couple of weeks. So, which is nice. So I've got that now, hopefully. So, but we'll see where the journey goes, because in my life, I understand that I leave a certain percentage of my life open, because I understand that sometimes you can't predict everything.
Definitely. And like in the coaching aspect, would you like to confine yourself or start with maybe in the UK, or are you comfortable exploring all over the world?
Well, the one thing with me is I've never been a person that approaches things in only one way and one place. So I'm very open. That's why I went to play in different leagues for myself, to get experience, to enjoy and see the lifestyles and get to know different people, different cultures. So I've always enjoyed that, because, I always enjoy people. So we'll see, but I always leave it open, and you never know, because sometimes different things, opportunities come up, and you sometimes don't know where they come from or where they're going to be, and sometimes you think, okay, actually this lines up with where I am right now. I would like to do that opportunity. We'll see, but you never know when that is. But I keep working away, and in the background here, every day I work away, whether it's different things to become better at what I'm doing. So you can always be ready then.
Definitely. And hopefully we hope to see you soon, like in the field, in a coaching profile. So we are getting to the end, and I have last three questions before we wrap up. And probably you would have been asked this question a lot. And who has had the biggest influence in your career? It may not be a player, maybe just your family person, anyone.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I think probably a combination. Yeah, I think family has helped, because in the way of, I feel like I've always had freedom to go and do what I wanted to do. So I think that is really, really helped, is having that freedom from family, because sometimes, your family can be saying, maybe you can't do that. But I've always had the freedom of, I want to do this, so I go and do it. But with, very little resistance. But I think, my friends have always helped. I have lots of friends I've known for over 20, 30 years, from when I was a small boy. Their support, I think, always helps. I think the biggest influence is, I think, for me, in football. You mean?
Football or in general, you can say both actually. Maybe football on and off the field, anything.
Yeah, I think on off the field, I think those things, that your day-to-day dynamics, your family, your friends, I think that really helps you. But I always find that with myself, I want to be inspired. If I'm inspired, I do myself, I become better. I like that. So a lot of people inspired me, and it's hard to say one, because all the time I'm always looking at different things, and I think, oh, I love that, and that inspires me. I want to become better because I seen this, or I heard this, so I think footballing wise, when I was a young kid, I used to watch on TV some of my footballing heroes that inspired me. People like Romario, who played for Brazil, Ronaldo Nazario. I call him the real Ronaldo. People like that, Ronaldinho, and people like Cantona, played for France and Man United. People like that, and Batistuta for Argentina and Fiorentina. So people like this really inspired me when I was a kid, and it always gave me the opportunity that, I want to do something too. I want to become a footballer too and score lots of goals like them. So I think those people really inspired me. And as I go on, I look at people like Messi now. He inspires me because I've been watching Messi since his debut. So from day one, people like Pep Guardiola inspires me. So there's lots and lots of people, and in different areas, I can always give you some people, because I'm not just always football. Sometimes the inspiration comes from outside. Um, so when with different things that I'm looking at, or maybe I'm watching, maybe I'm on YouTube or something, and I'm watching, and I think, that's great. I enjoy basketball. Basketball or music has always inspired me too. And musicians have always inspired me too. So there's lots of different areas where I have big interest in, and there's a few people in there that inspire me. So it's hard to just say one, and give you just one. There's, you ask me next time, there'll be a few different ones I remember. So I think it's always a number of people that inspire you, and that's what I've had.
Definitely. And like, since you mentioned a lot of maybe more of the attacking players, I'll tweak my second last question to any particular goal that stands out for you that you have scored in your career.
That's always a difficult question, like picking your favorite kid. No, there's lots, but if I have to name, maybe one, I'll name two. I think when I was a young kid, I always I liked to watch the Premier League, and I got to the Premier League, and I was playing for West Brom, and we're playing against Manchester United at Old Trafford. This is the first time Cristiano Ronaldo's playing, and lots of them, Rio Ferdinand, Ryan Giggs, Scholes, all of these people, Rooney, all of these people are playing, and to walk out there, and we're 1-0 down, and in the last, I think 25 minutes, we get a penalty. And this is Old Trafford. Alex Ferguson is on the side, and all of these top stars are on the pitch, and you just feel like this is a moment that I've always dreamed of scoring at Old Trafford. So I step up, put the penalty down, and it was a great moment where I scored the penalty. And just because of the occasion, but also what it meant to our team, I was West Brom, we needed to get at least a point minimum at that moment for our team. So score, it's 1-1. We enjoyed, we celebrate, but we get the result. It's 1-1. We got a point, and then the next week we go and stay in the Premier League because we're facing relegation at the time. But to that goal, I think meant a lot. I think the other goal as well, I was playing for Wales, and it's my first game. I think this is 2002, and we faced Germany, and this is a strong German team. And I've just come in the squad, no games yet, and just hoping, please, this is, make this my debut. I would love to be in the team. We're training during the week. I'm named in the team, and I know I'm going to be playing. So we go to the next day, and we're playing against Germany, who were a top team at the time, and I managed to score the winning goal against Germany. So we win 1-0, and just that moment was amazing, because number one, you want to play the highest level, and you want to play international football. I was playing for Wales, making my debut, my first game. I'm a young kid playing my first game, but also the bonus to just score the winning goal against Germany. That was amazing, and something it's hard to put into words, but it's the very best feeling. Trust me.
Because that, I think that the Germany, I think many people would not be aware, but this was 2002 when I think they reached the final.
Yeah, well, 3 months,
Yeah.
2 months later.
Yeah.
2 months later, they're playing against Brazil in the final of the World Cup final.
Yeah,
so and we beat them 2 months earlier. We beat them 1-0. So it was significant, and it was so, I felt even better because everybody thought, wow, okay, this is actually a top German team because they reached the World Cup final. So It was great. It was absolutely amazing feeling, for myself. And the goal as well just gave me so much joy because I wanted to play my first game, but also just to score the winning goal.
Definitely. So we'll wrap it up with one final question. Any advice for any young players?
Young players, if you're a young player, I think the number one is, I've made a career and go to play against some of my favorite players that inspired me and some of my heroes. I think because you have to have a strong belief in yourself. I think you have to work yourself, whether it's by yourself or with people. You have to work really, really, really with detail. But you have to do your best, do your very best. But at the same time, I think you have to make sure that you're enjoying yourself. And even when it's difficult, even when you think, oh, I'm tired, you keep going. You enjoy being tired. You enjoy, it's a difficult challenge. Okay, let's enjoy that. And things will always be, you'll always end up in a good place after that. Because I think the one thing that doesn't get talked about is when you face challenges, when you face difficulties or knockbacks, you have to be strong, but sometimes it's not told that you have to also enjoy that, because when you enjoy that and then you come through and you achieve something later on, it's even more enjoyable to reach the top, because there's no shortcuts. There's no shortcuts to somewhere worth going. So you might as well enjoy it.
Definitely. And like on that note, Robert, thank you so much for talking to me and giving us your time. And I would like to wish you all the best for your coaching journey which lies ahead, and also punditry, which we quite enjoy, whenever you do come on TV, and hope to see you success in that, because you give I would say, I would even, because you have had such a career where, like you had come, that gives hope to a lot of people, like
Right.
coming from where you have come and what you have achieved and what you're still achieving. I mean, for
Yeah.
many, if you would probably have not done that, there would not have been a, like pathway for many, I would say.
Oh,
You
right.
you get what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
have set a pathway where probably now people from Zambia can think, okay, I can go and play in the Premier League because someone has done it.
Oh, I appreciate that, because for myself, it's very nice that you can, or people can see that, because I'm a person that pretty much had no right to make it. There's nobody said, oh, this is the way you do it, and so if you do this and this and this, you'll achieve this, and you'll go. There was nothing. So you had to go and I had to find it myself. But I think, I come from nothing. I stay true to that. That's always there in my mind. But coming from nothing, and from Zambia in the middle of nowhere, and to go to play in the Premier League and international football, I think that's always when somebody recognizes that, that's always special for me. So thank you very much. And you can do it. And that's why I always say that, because I did it. And there's no blueprint for me, and there's no blueprint for you. So there's just your dream and your hard work. So go do it, and good luck.
And that note, Robert, thank you so much. And once again, and hope to talk to you again soon. Till then, take care, stay safe. Bye. Thank you once again.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.